Hello and welcome to our webinar interview today. I'm Francis Seeley from GlobalNet 21 and Enfield Voices, and this is one of the many webinars we do where we look at some of the major issues that face us today in public life and business and personal things as well, globally and locally. And today we've got Despina Johnson with us, who is from Enterprise Enfield. And she's going to talk about the work she does with businesses, startups, helping them, social enterprises, and so on. And she's been doing it for quite some time, so she has a lot of experience in this. So, thank you for joining us, Despina. And maybe we could begin by you telling us a little bit, not a lot, because we don't have a huge amount of time, but a little bit about your background.
Thank you, Francis. Thanks for inviting me onto the webinar as well, and a chance to talk about Enterprise Enfield. But I'll start with myself. I've been the chief executive of the company for 11 years, and it's flown by. Before that, I've worked as a CEO in a charity in Finsbury Park, and I also worked for Haringey Council for 2 years in regeneration. I think really my career in regeneration and business support started back in 1998 when I joined the North London Chamber of Commerce in Enfield, and I was there for about 5 years. But really that kind of sector has been my area of working for the last probably 20 odd years. And I do really enjoy it. It's a very exciting sector. We work with very aspirational people, and we're able to help them to follow their dreams and give them the tools to start successful businesses and hopefully sustain them.
So, with that background in regeneration and business and so on, what made you want to get involved in Enterprise Enfield?
Yeah, I think because I started in the North London Chamber of Commerce, I think I really enjoyed working with businesses. And in fact, I worked with larger businesses there. I used to go and visit them on industrial estates and help them to access grants and get them involved in different schemes. And then when I went to work for Haringey Council, it kind of broadened my experience that I was working with the community as well, which was very, very valuable to me, because you can't just work with business on its own. It is part of the community. And I think I learned a lot there. And then also in Finsbury Park, we worked integrating business programs, again, with the community. I worked for a development trust there. But we did focus very much on the high roads and the businesses that were trading there. And I think really it's just my affinities with business. So stepping into Enterprise Enfield and actually starting with the startups as well was really, really interesting, and I've enjoyed it a great deal. We do work with existing businesses too, so we work with SMEs, and we've delivered a number of European programs over the last 11 years to help businesses to grow and obviously to sustain, which is so important.
So if someone were to say to you, could you put it in a nutshell, what is the purpose of Enterprise Enfield? How would you answer that?
Yeah, I think it is quite simple. We're here to help people start and grow sustainable businesses. I think the main point of what we do is to help people have businesses that will be successful and sustain. Unfortunately, the failure rate in London is really high. Over a 5-year period, up to 50% of businesses that start will fail. So that is just the situation we live with. A lot of businesses start in London, but I think probably because of lack of support and access to support, they don't always start. They don't start with strong business models that can be sustained.
So clearly, they need a lot of help. They need a lot of advice. They need a lot of support. And I gather you've got a staff of about 10 people plus freelancers. So that's quite substantial at a local level. So what sort of services do you offer?
Yeah, I think we do have a range of services. We always offer business support. So if you're an Enfield business or an Enfield resident, you can book an hour appointment with a business advisor. And the difference for us is, although I have 10 staff that are employed, we actually have separate business advisors who are freelance. So we do find qualified, experienced people. Normally they run their own business, and then they are the ones that can give business advice. And they've got professional indemnity insurance as well. So people can be really sure that they're going to meet someone who is qualified to give them advice and to help them with their business problem. And they've seen businesses from all different sectors, so they've got a wide range of experience. But because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've kind of broadened that out. So really, any business that wants to have a half-hour consultation with a business advisor can have that. because what we want to do is signpost them to support as quickly as possible, because there is obviously quite a lot of support out there for the moment. We also run an online seminar now to help people start businesses, and that's just to give them an overview of the different aspects of running the business, looking at the law and obviously tax. Before we used to look more at property and kind of company models, but I think again, because of the change, we're going to focus on freelance support. So we'll look at people who want to start their own businesses, maybe because they've been made redundant, or or they can't find work. If they've got a skill or some kind of experience, we want to help them explore self-employment.
Yeah, I saw that you did online seminars, and I thought that was really quite impressive. So, just to help people, supposing I wanted to start a business and I came to you and said, I want to start a business, and I had a weird idea. I mean, what would you do once I told you that?
Yeah, I think the business advisor would actually start asking you a lot of questions, especially that first meeting. It's very intense. And I think the more people are prepared before they come to that meeting, the better. But they are actually going to ask quite challenging questions. It's really, the focus will be on your business model. Have you got a product or service that will make money? And then they will look at that and then help you to develop and do your market research, think about who is your customer. There's a lot of work that goes on in the background. So basically it's working through a business plan. And I must admit, a lot of people who do come to us, they drop the first business idea because sometimes it's something they're passionate about or it's a hobby, but it won't translate to a sustainable business that will make money. So they may have to change it or change the idea altogether. But that's not a problem. I think that's what we're here to do, is help people explore. Again, it's about helping people develop business models that will be sustainable for them.
So do you get anyone coming to you that doesn't have a business plan and don't even know what a business plan has? They've just got a notion of an idea.
Yeah, definitely. We have people. Some people just want to start a business and they're not quite sure what to do. As well as the support I mentioned, we also have programs for women. So we have a startup course. So that is for women who haven't actually started in business. So they come, normally they have some kind of idea of maybe the area they want to work in, but we help them develop a business model to actually look at different ideas, play with them and think about, well, what is there a niche? They may like a particular idea, but is there a niche area of that they could focus on? And then they can start the market research and start shaping it. And we use a business model canvas, which is kind of a very simplified business planning tool to help people just kind of on one sheet map out the business idea so they can start working on it in a much more straightforward way before they move. Business planning itself can get quite detailed, and at that early stage it's more about developing the idea.
So do you get the feeling that they want someone to hold their hand at the beginning? In a way, you offer that to them in a way that no one else can?
Oh, definitely. I think for us, we're here to support people. We want them to explore and to come up with an idea that they're really passionate about, but they also believe in. Because if you're going to have to go on to either invest in some of your own money or borrow money, you really do need to know how you're going to sustain that business in the future. And we don't want to help people set up businesses that won't be sustainable. But we are very supportive. I mean, the startup course lasts for 3 months. And there is ongoing support after that as well with the business advisor. So we are very supportive.
So is it prerequisite that they have to go on that startup course?
No, that's one course. Once they've been on that course, if they start a business, then we've got follow-on growth support for them. But people can jump into that growth support. So if they're trading, this is for women, up to 42 months, they can go on to a growth program. And that's more bespoke to them because obviously they've got their business idea and they just need help with growing the business and maybe developing their marketing and finding new customers or whatever challenge they have at that time.
So do you ever have anyone come to you with such a crazy idea that you've got to say no?
Yeah, the business advisors are not, they do challenge people. I'm not sure we tell people that they shouldn't do something, but the business advisors will ask a lot of questions and the people have to be able to answer them. And if they can't answer them to the business advisor confidently or that they've done the research, then they'll know that their business isn't well enough thought through to move it on. So yes, people do come with unusual ideas. So it's
I mean, startup is one thing, and very often startup, in terms of having the idea and so on, is the exciting bit. And then there's maintenance, and that's where lots of people fail on the second stage of maintenance. Do you give them help in that, or do you just help them with the startup?
No, the business advisors can help SMEs, so small, medium-sized businesses. They can continue with that. We've run through the 11 years, we've had about 5 European contracts for SMEs, and that was for established businesses. So we do go in and we help people with issues that come up. I think it could be around employment, I suppose it's marketing strategies. Obviously, digital technology is a totally new area. And some businesses do struggle with that. They're not using the digital tools that are out there. Some of them are free. There's a lot of lack of knowledge of the tools that are available for them. And sometimes it's just they're so busy. They need someone to actually sit down and say to them, this tool will really help you to be more productive, win more customers and save money. And they just need that extra bit of support.
So to give people a more concrete idea of what you do, have you got 1 or 2 success stories you can tell us about?
Yeah, I think over the years, I mean, if anyone wants to see some of our successes on the website, if you go to our website, www.enterpriseenfield.org, we have a list of ambassadors. So they're women that have been on an accelerator program. There's about 15. And their profiles are all there. I mean, from memory, we've got Kathy Underwood from Yoga for Mums. We have Audra's brooches are there. So you can just click on them, see their profiles, but also all of them are available to speak. So if anyone wants them to come out and talk about their experience, they can do that. Going back a bit further, we had Laban Rooms, who set up Gold Genie. He was on Dragon's Den, so he's very successful, and he does come back occasionally for us. And we've also got Emma Rigby, so she's quite well known in Enfield, Love Your Doorstep. So she was our client at one point. So yes, we've had some really interesting business, all obviously very varied and different sizes and sectors.
Well, I didn't know that Emma Rigby came to you in the first place. That's interesting. I mean, you mentioned some of them, and they're women, and you do a lot of work with women in their startups and their acceleration, don't you? I mean, why do you feel there's a need to concentrate in that area?
Well, I think it was probably something we did going back about 10 years. We started a women's startup program. And there are particular obstacles to women starting businesses. I think overall women are underrepresented in business. I think they start up about half the rate of men, but they do have extra challenges in life, which is around care responsibilities. And also sometimes it's just there aren't enough role models of female entrepreneurs to inspire women to do it. They think they have to be a certain type of person or have, capital behind them to do it. So we wanted to just make women aware that that was an opportunity for them. And from that, we've just been very fortunate to be funded continually to do that. And the most exciting part of that is we have a female founders accelerator program for successful women. And that is a really, really interesting program that we're running at the moment. We do support men though. So I think I just want to add that it's not that, it's almost because we've been successful in that bidding that we have so many programs for women, but we do still have support for men.
Oh, so you support men, so there's still a chance for me if I come to you. That's
Definitely.
great. But you mentioned the accelerator program. Just tell people what that is.
Yeah, the accelerator program, in order to get onto that, you have to have been in business probably for at least a year and have a minimum turnover of 20,000 and have potential for growth. So they're more established businesses. And with that, rather than having more kind of general courses, there's more bespoke support. So the women tap in and to the kind of support they want with specialist consultants. So we have a growth consultant, we have a marketing consultant, a digital marketing consultant. And the first program we run actually had mentoring from JP Morgan, which was really, really valuable to them. And that's continued, but I think we have less women who are able to access that, but that was very, very useful. So the mentoring from the bank was very vital at that point.
So Do you get established businesses that come in and help in that way and they are mentoring, and do you develop partnerships with them in order to do it?
Yeah, I think businesses tend to not so much come in and mentor, but they will send speakers and talk about how the systems. So we have that kind of relationship. We did some work with Marks and Spencer's back a while ago where they spoke about teams and motivating staff.
Ah, okay, so you work with them in that way, but you do, don't you, encourage partnerships, and you like doing that. And you mentioned
Definitely.
Emma, Rigby, and that she came to you, but now you work in partnership with her, Love Your Doorstep Lids.
Yeah.
What sort of partnership do you have with them?
Yeah, I think with Love Your Doorstep, obviously because we've worked with Emma and we have a great deal of respect for her work and her achievements in Enfield. I mean, I think it's absolutely fabulous. But any initiatives that they produce, we will promote. We refer people to them, businesses to them, because they have lots of support themselves for promoting business. And we're just involved with their schemes and obviously any new ideas they come up with, they talk to us. We can support charities and social enterprises. So if they have those kind of organisations that they're working with and they want to tap into our support, that's there. So I think it's a very, kind of reciprocal relationship. They promote our initiatives as well and refer people back to us.
Well, that's good. And if you talk to her every time she has a new idea, you must be talking to her all the time because she's quite a fireball in that sense. You also work with the North London Credit Union, don't you? Now, in what way do you work with them? Is it because they can provide finance?
Yeah, I think we've had a long relationship with the North London Credit Union. At one point, they used to actually do business loans themselves, but now I think they have a kind of a sister organisation called Financing Startup that does the startup loan for businesses. Obviously, that is a really, really useful government loan that startups can access. I think it's up to 25,000 and it's a very low 6% interest rate. So obviously a very good option for someone who's starting up and doesn't have any other finance. And we work with the credit union and that company, so we can refer people. But they've come down and done talks. We did a project with them around enterprising libraries in the past, so we have collaborated. But obviously the credit union work itself for residents is fantastic. So the loans and the savings opportunities are really important at this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's an extremely good credit union. Now, obviously, you work with a lot of social enterprise who are in business to earn a living, but also to do good. And we're living in a time of climate change now. And I know that's something that concerns you. And you're looking at how you could develop an awareness about being green in business. I mean,
Yeah.
what's your thinking on that?
Yeah, I think over the years, we have run probably about 3 environmental programs for SMEs in Enfield, all funded by the European Union. And we do have environmental business advisors, which are quite rare. So they can combine going in and doing an audit on a business that looks at their carbon footprint and helps them to see how they can reduce that, but at the same time become more competitive, save money, and also help with attract more customers. So it's a nice approach for a business where they can see an improvement in their productivity and profits, but at the same time reduce their carbon footprint. So those programs have been very successful in that way. Obviously, that kind of money is coming to an end, but we need to keep looking for further funding like that to work with SMEs. But I think in the meantime, we can look at the clients that come in. Fortunately, a lot of our clients that come in want to produce their own products. So they tend to already know that they want to source, items ethically and also have products that don't damage the environment. But I think maybe we can build that a little more into our programs. So I think it's an interesting, we've got an opportunity to build that in now without waiting for government funding to come forward, which could take quite a long time. I think another opportunity is us moving into a new business hub. I think we can take more control of how we run that place as well, and we can look at our own carbon footprint in the new business hub.
Yeah, I'll ask you about the business hub in a minute, but I'm sure you'll be knocking in an open door when you get involved in green businesses and so on, because many people want to do it now. You sort of alluded to funding. How are you funded actually?
Yeah, we are an independent organisation, so we're not core funded by any other organisation. We do bid continually. I mean, it is very, very competitive to bid for business support funding. At the moment, we still have a European contract. It's the Inspiring Women's Programme, so that helps with startups and growth. We also have funding from JP Morgan for the Female Founders Accelerator. So that's our main sources. We also get a grant from the RSA Trust as well. So, but we do, it's one of our kind of those continuing chores to have to bid, and we will continue to do that.
Yeah, but organisations like yours has depended a long time on European funding, and now we're no longer a part of the European Union. Is that creating a big gap in your funding strategy?
Yeah, I think it is probably more of a concern about business support generally. What will happen, because there is an awful lot of business support in the UK funded by Europe. So I know the government are looking at the UK Shared Prosperity Fund and how they will use that money to replace the ERDF is the fund that we get. But I think in the meantime, again, we have to think, how are we going to fill that gap? And part of that is by, I suppose, investing more in our new business hub and earning more income ourselves. So that's our approach. There are other options to bid for funding as well. So we're exploring those.
So that, I mean, I read somewhere once that chief executives of organisation spend something like 80% of their time raising funds and finding it hard to do, the job they want to do. Is that an experience you have?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's that balance. I actually would like to spend more time fundraising than I think I get caught up more in the programs and the activities, because there's an awful lot going on. But the fundraising, I think you have to obviously find your balance. And I do work with other partners on that, and we don't work in isolation. We work with other enterprise agencies, and I think that makes it easier because that gives us a scope to cover London. And I think that makes it more attractive for funders and anyone who wants to support business in London.
Okay, the other interesting thing, of course, is that you're now working in a time of this pandemic, of COVID-19. How has that affected what you do, and how have you been able to help businesses?
Yeah, I think it's been quite dramatic for us, I think, as it has been for all businesses and people. We found we had to close down our office and work from home. So we had to set everyone up to do online working. We found clients initially were caught up with their own lives, that they couldn't necessarily go to online seminars. So what we decided to do was support people who wanted help, suspend our programs till the beginning of July, and also do lots of signposting. So we were making sure everyone knew about the government support that was there and helping them to quickly get to the right type of support for them, because there's a lot out there and it's quite confusing. So they were able to get some kind of signposting from us during that time. But everything's back now. We've started our programs again. We're doing online and telephone, and we found the clients are much more comfortable now with that. I think everyone's adjusted to working at home and social distancing. So it's been a good start back again for us.
But have you had businesses that you've helped or who have started out recently who have come to you now, not for startup, but say, I'm in a panic, my business is in real trouble, what can I do?
Yeah, we do. Obviously, we've got business advisors who can help with that. So if people are really don't know what to do, they're in a bad situation, they can speak to an advisor who will start working through the process of looking at just going through that kind of very financial information, what their outgoings are, what they're expecting their income to be, how they can manage the outgoings and reduce them or control them, maybe delay them. Then it's looking at how they can increase their revenue coming in, different ways of selling, and then also looking at the different types of loan options out there. But they do have someone who is qualified to take them through those steps. So we definitely can help businesses who need that.
Okay, so you have been in Ponders End for quite a while now, and at the beginning of August, you're going to move to Southgate in what is called the Southgate Hub. Can you tell us what that is? What is a hub and where will you be?
Yeah, I think the business hub is it's actually in the Southgate campus of Barnet and Southgate College, and it's been purposely refurbished as a business hub. So basically, it's a big open space, and there'll be room for co-working and hot desking. Obviously, we've got restrictions now, so we can't open it up to businesses, unfortunately. But at some point, we will be able to do that, and we also will be able to run events there and meetups. So I think it's just a very, very exciting environment and very good broadband, so which is obviously a bonus. In the meantime, what we're offering is we're going to be there from the 1st of August. But another way we support businesses, we've been aware of this gap for them, is that a lot of people work from home but don't want to use their home address all the time, and they're giving out information about their company. So we offer a correspondence address and a mailbox, and that's £20 a month. So it's very, very, very heavily subsidised, but it's very important for people to have that facility if they want it. They also get an hour of mentoring a month from a business advisor, and they'll get a business listing on our website. So it's our initial offer to people who have businesses but don't want to, or freelance but don't want to, obviously use their home address. And that's our start. And then the next stage will be once we can start having people come into the business hub.
Is that on the old Southgate College site? Is that where you'll be based?
Yes, it's in the front block. And the other opportunities for us to work with Barnet and Southgate College, I think we're really looking forward to collaborating with them and starting to work with their students and also our businesses to start, I suppose, taking advantage of any courses and opportunities they can in the college.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. It's almost like you're in a new startup yourself. You know, you're going to this hub. You can work with the college. And will there be other partners there that you can work with? And will that collaboration add to your strength?
I think once we get the hub, once we can start having people coming in, there's so many opportunities to work with other organisations. We really do want to invite other organisations in to give sessions, to do talks. I mean, there could be opportunities to run different things at weekends, more tasters. So for people who just want to come in and find out a little bit about a business without committing, we might be able to start more on digital upskilling for people. So people who want to go into business might just need some help as well with that. So I think working with the college will give us a bit more, I suppose, a range of opportunities we can offer to people in Enfield and obviously the surrounding area.
So when do you actually start in the new hub? When is your first day?
It will be the 1st of August. That's a Saturday, so probably from the 3rd we'll be there in person, and we'll start having people obviously be coming to collect their mail. That's the only contact we'll be having at the moment. But we still have online seminars, and so all the online support continues. So there are programs still continuing as well.
So how do you see your future, and what would you like to see of it?
Yeah, I think for us, we obviously just want to help businesses get through this time. It's a very uncertain time, and there probably will be opportunities. We want to help businesses to take advantage of them, take advantage of digital technology, and for the hub in the future to be a centre in North London where businesses feel they can go to either to start up or to grow or to collaborate. And I think we do want to open it up to other partners to come in and give talks and bring their expertise in. The one thing we do know is that we're not experts in everything. We do refer a lot to trusted partners, and I think we can grow that.
Okay, so you've got quite an exciting future ahead of you, which is really great, and I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in what you're doing, and when the pandemic's over, will want to visit you. So, if people did want to get in contact with you, if they did want to find out more about what you're doing, how do they do that?
Yeah, well, they can go through the website and leave a message, but we have an info@enterpriseenfield.org email that they can email, or they can phone us on 0208 443 5457.
Okay, well, thank you. I mean, that's really interesting, and I'm sure people will find your service, increasingly useful for them, and especially when you move to the hub and you've got all the collaboration with other organizations and with the college itself. So, thank you for doing the interview, because I think people will have learned a lot about what you're doing, and how you do it and who you help, which is really important. So we sort of come to the end of our half hour now, which has gone very quickly.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for, taking part in this. It's been great.
Oh, thank you, Francis. Great to have the opportunity.
Okay, well, thanks again. And, we'll end this interview now.